Hello, welcome into my live stream. I haven't live streamed on here for a bit, or done much on this YouTube channel. Let me check, make sure my mic levels are good. Okay, we're good. Yeah, tonight I'm gonna do a simulcast of a podcast called Time Out with Ty. It's a sports show. Figured I'd mix things up on my channel, do some sports shows, do a sports show. The host on the show tonight is having a guest on that does the Mac Attack show. Does sex talk. He does this guest does Sex Talk Sunday, and sometimes appear guest a guest on Guy Talk. I'll learn how to talk tonight. If you hear any background fan noises, that's the CPU fan in my computer. I gotta work on it tomorrow to fix it, but it seems to be working. You see what time it is? It's 8:57. Let me put on some bumper music until the show gets started. And whenever the show starts, I'll put the link in the chat room to the show page, so you can go over there and listen to it too. I'm having technical difficulties, sorry about that. I must have moved the source file for this bumper music. Sorry about that, I'm having technical difficulties. I must have moved the source file in OBS. But the show's about to start, so I'm just gonna go with the flow. Sorry about the silence. I forgot I had my mic muted. Next time I'll make sure I got the bumper music lined up. Still waiting for the show to come on. I get a notification through Facebook whenever they go live. And here we go. I'm gonna go ahead and mute the mic and get this going.
Giants are going to the Super Bowl.
Hello again, everybody. Harry Carey from Wrigley Field on a
beautiful day for baseball. Back, gone. Back. Hey! It goes in there! Oh, stuck on it! That ball's high! It is far! It is good! So come with me anywhere you wanna go.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Time Out with Ty. This is episode 17. We have a very special episode tonight. Special guest coming back on. He was on last week to talk a little XFL. He's coming back on this week. The main man of our show, Mr. Dino Mack, is coming back tonight to talk to you, some of you WWE wrestling fans. He's going to call you out, so you listen up. All right, so you just sit down, listen up. Welcome to the show, our friend, our creator, Mr. Dino Mack. What's going on?
Awesome intro, man. I'm kind of wondering if I need some pyro, maybe some pyro
Right?
for some.
Little smoke coming on. Throw you a little music in with you.
I like the smoke. I always like that in a wrestler's entrance is if they had smoke or not. Smoke is cool. Smoke.
I like how they always, there's always the surprise, right? Oh my goodness, right? But there was none better than when you're sitting there and you're doing something, all of a sudden you hear the bell toll because the Taker's coming on. Like
Yeah.
People stop, they turn to look like, shit, here it comes. We know what's happening.
That's right. And you know what? That actually happened today. As a matter of fact, Undertaker came out. I forget what the award was called, but they was having a tournament or a rumble for this award, and it was meant of strength and courage in Saudi Arabia or whatever. And the Undertaker chokeslammed AJ Styles and pinned him and won that award, and then just walked off. And it was pretty cool. It took place noon Eastern time. So of course they're all the way in Saudi Arabia, so it's like different time zones and all that. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't know if you had something you wanted to cover first, or if you wanted me to just go ahead with my tirade here.
Let's just get into it. I hope these WWE wrestling fans are listening, because he's about to just cut you up.
Yes, I am. But real quickly, Blazers, Pacers. Blazers are up 42. Second quarter, 2:37 on the clock. We're about ready to go into halftime, and the Trailblazers are up by 2 points. So it's a heck of a battle here. It's going. And congratulations to the Celtics, still holding that third place spot there in the Eastern Conference. I love it. Tatum, you're the man. Just saying, that dude. If he made, he's 5 for 6 on the 3-point line. It doesn't matter. This guy is amazing. If you got to guard him, you got to guard him 4 feet, 6 feet away from the 3-point line. He's going to make it. Like, it's almost a guarantee. Anyways, back to the wrestling part.
Well, hang on here. I
Go ahead.
Explain to fans, all right? For those of you that are sports fans, you got to understand, Dino Mack here just took a little bit of an injury, and so he's coming back from his injury, right? He's decided, now that he's back at work, that he's actually going to get into some of the sports other than just his wrestling, because he does like his wrestling. But the man is starting to follow some football, which is fantastic. He still follows his basketball. Obviously he's a Celtics fan, Pacers fan, which is fantastic for us because, we're here. But man, I am glad that you're getting back into watching some sports.
Oh yeah, absolutely, dude. It's been a long time coming, really, and with the wrestling fans, I'm about to explain why, because I needed an alternative. The WWE's Super Showdown went down today, and a lot of people are crippling and they're criticizing the pay-per-view, just calling it just horrible. I myself I've watched it. I watched it right before some of the highlights, yes, and I did watch some of the wrestling parts and all the matches and stuff like that. And I thought it was a solid pay-per-view. And there was one problem that I had with the pay-per-view that I agreed with the fans. It sucked that Goldberg won the Universal Championship. I get that. I get it. He's 53 years old. Dude comes in 54, 53 years old. He's hardly ever there. He's a Hall of Famer. He's the first ever Hall of Famer to win a championship outside of the Hall of Fame. He's a force to be reckoned with in the sense of the entertainment business of professional wrestling. I just want to put that out there real quick. Now, The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, great character, reinvented himself from this like backwoods, like down by the bayou looking wrestler. And he Bray Wyatt is such a great phenomenon on the microphone. He brings back vignettes that we so direly miss. He's brought back an actual wrestling character instead of a personal persona, meaning wrestlers use their real names or they come up with a name, like Daniel Bryan is actually Brian Danielson or something like that. This is like his real name. Either way, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The problem that I have, and I have a little bit of reality check for wrestling fans. I happen to get on Twitter and I happen to get on Instagram, and everybody's just crying. They're bitching, they're moaning, they're complaining. All these so-called wrestling fan or smart marks or whatever they want to call themselves, they feel as though that they keep on getting cheated out of great entertainment. And I'm about to call you out because we haven't seen great entertainment since the late 90s. We haven't seen guys try to give it their all since the late 90s. We don't have guys. We have guys that are coming in here thinking that they're entitled. These new guys. Everybody says, "Oh, these guys, are keeping us down." All these, the veterans, they're keeping us down, or they can't have a show. They can't move the WWE. The company cannot move forward because they keep bringing back the past and everything. And the problem with that is because the past can sell. The past brings back memories. The past brings back great, and I dare to say, almost way better ratings than the newer. People are saying that they're gonna switch to AEW. Okay, we got people on here crying because, oh, you're holding back talent. Oh, you guys are just going to shove Roman Reigns down our throat. It was one of the smartest things I ever heard John Cena say. It was in a promo with Roman Reigns. He said, "You should be ashamed of yourself because I can do this better part-time than you can ever do it full-time." And he's exactly right. These new young guys can't pull promos, can't entertain. The only thing that people classify wrestling now is acrobatics. Everybody loves the high points. Everybody loves the chairs, the tables. Everybody wants this hardcore blood back. Everybody wants crazy, out of the control mayhem, and that's not professional wrestling. That is not professional wrestling. Professional wrestling is storytelling. It is promoing. It is getting the audience involved better than they do. They got this guy in AEW called Orange Cassidy. Okay, this dude literally wrestles with his hands in his pocket. That's a disgrace to wrestling, and everybody knows it is. I don't care what they say. It's a disgrace to wrestling. Okay, he does a few wrestling moves, and he does do that. But if you're going to say that John Cena had the 5 or 7 moves of doom or 5 moves of doom, well, I hate to see if you'd actually look at Orange Cassidy and see what he exactly does. You got Chris Jericho, that is a phenomenal phenomenal professional wrestler. Phenomenal. I'm not gonna sit there and take credit away from you. But the dude looks like he has been sitting on the couch for way too long. Can he work in the ring still? Yeah, he can, but he can't. I'm here to tell the fans that if you think you're going to get better wrestling in AEW or New Japan Pro Wrestling or Ring of Honor or any of these other wrestling companies, even WWE, if you think you're going to get better wrestling out of WWE, you are sadly mistaken, because wrestling is dead. There's too many options. There's too many professionals that are not professional. There's too many crybabies out there. It's always entitlement. Look at Cody Rhodes. I'm sorry, but Cody Rhodes is limited to the skills and the abilities that he does in the ring, and I just know it. He can't cut any promos. He's cut one good promo in his entire career of professional wrestling, ever. One good promo, and that was with his brother. And that was it. I mean, you got Tony Khan, the owner of AEW, trying to reinvent wrestling with Cody Rhodes and the Young Bucks and stuff like, and it's not possible. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen because you can't reinvent wrestling anymore. That you want to know the guys that reinvented wrestling? Guys like Scott Hall, Kevin Nash, those guys created guaranteed contracts. Boom. All right. That's out of the way. They never had that. You want to reinvent wrestling? Give professional wrestlers lifetime health care. Do that. Give them health care. Give them benefit packages. Give them pensions. That's how you reinvent wrestling. Okay. It's already been done. Everything has already been done. It's like there's no other way. The only way you could reinvent professional wrestling is if primetime television would let everybody go out there nude and just get it on, women included. All right, AEW got a woman, has a transgender woman, whatever you want to call her. I don't hate against anybody. I'm just saying that this woman that used to be a man identifies as a woman now and has got the woman's title in AEW. That's ridiculous. You just set it back, I don't know, 10, 20, 30 years of female wrestling in the professional wrestling business. Wrestling is dead. There's nothing left. I still watch wrestling because I'm the kind of fan that sits back and enjoys the show. Does my guy always win? No. Just like in the NFL. Does your team always win? No. Just like in the NBA? No. I would rather have the Celtics and the Pacers in the top 5. Okay? But they're not. They're just not. Pacers are in the 6th. Celtics are in the 3rd. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see the championship between Celtics and the Bulls. But no, I got to put up with King James. Like, really? This dude is that? That's what I'm saying.
You gonna
NFL
get started on LeBron James, huh?
I want you to, but anyways, I'm just going to say this. I'm just going to say to the professional wrestling fans, if you don't like WWE entertainment, then you have a array of different entertainment. But I'm here to tell you, there's another thing, and excuse my language, but there's none of this bullshit Wednesday wars either. Okay, it's not AEW versus NXT. That's not even a thing. Nobody even cares about that. Yeah, so AEW, of course, they're gonna beat NXT. That's a given. It's just a given. You got more WWE wrestlers on AEW that are in the spotlight than you have main event WWE wrestle. Yeah, so Charlotte Flair comes back on NXT. Finn Balor comes back on NXT. No, that has nothing to do with trying to up the ratings. That has nothing to do with it. There is no Wednesday wars. Get that out of your head. It's not happening. It's just wrestling. So find something that you enjoy watching, and then when they make you mad, don't cry about it. Just sit back and enjoy the show. It's like, I wish we could build Bray Wyatt, the Fiend's character a little bit more. Yeah. Does it suck? Absolutely. But I'm not going on social media. I'm not complaining about it. I'm not saying I'm going to cancel my membership, because you know what? I'm not going to cancel my membership because there's other things to watch on the WWE network. You like the Monday Night Wars? You like the old 90s wrestling and stuff like that when wrestling was good? Like actually good, when there wasn't no internet and you didn't find out what was going to happen? You had the dirt sheets, but that's all you had. You enjoyed wrestling. You was surprised. Nobody's surprised anymore. And everybody's short term. So if you think you're going to get better quality wrestling from anywhere else, even with the WWE, you're not. Wrestling is dead. Wrestling is done. It is a joke. It is a male soap opera that is going nowhere, and their revenue is down. Their stocks are down. Their stocks are not as high as you think. The attendance records in the arenas for AEW, New Japan Pro Wrestling, and Ring of Honor are down. Nobody's watching wrestling anymore because it's just not interesting. It's just not interesting enough. Now, diehard professional wrestling fans that find a company that they like watching and they enjoy it, good for you. You're like me. I keep watching the WWE because I enjoy it. I don't like all the things they do, but I enjoy the entertainment. It is entertainment. If you don't like watching the show, quit watching the show, because there's so many other things that you could be watching, like the NBA, NFL, NHL, Major League Baseball. Watch golf. There are some times that I hate golf. I hate golf. I really do. Golf is the most boring sport to watch. I think besides second comes baseball. To me personally, and I don't watch those sports because they're not interesting to me. But you know what? There's big market value in all these companies. When it comes to AEW, WWE, Ring of Honor, New Japan Pro Wrestling, whatever other you want to get into real wrestling, you want to get some fun out of it, support the indie guys. Support the people that comes to your town and stuff like that and wrestles in a gymnasium. Those guys are the guys that's trying to make it. Those guys are living on the $20 an hour. Those guys are going to be somebody later on, but they're trying to pave their way. They're trying to get into the business, and they could be diamonds in the rough, man. They could be diamonds in the rough. Trust me. I mean, seriously, it is. Everybody got real hyped because The Rock's daughter, she's in NXT. Oh my God. She's been training since she's been 16. Guess what? She ain't going to get no walk in the park either, because we have stupid fans. And yes, I said stupid fans that are going to just boo her because they will feel as though that she has something to prove to them. And she does. I'll give you that. But they're like, people actually like Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan is not that good of an entertainer. Can he wrestle? Yeah, he can wrestle. Look, I could go on and on about this, but I'm not going to waste Ty's time, and I'm not going to waste the show's time on a bunch of crybabies that is all wrestling. Look, wrestling's dead, bro. Wrestling is dead.
Well, it
There's
sounds to
nothing
me like they need to bring back the Attitude Era to work with these new kids, and we'll call it the Attitude Adjustment Era.
And they just, on the WWE Network, they just had this new series that they started. It was the Ruthless Aggression Era. This is about the time when you was introduced to John Cena, and you was introduced to Evolution, these factions and stuff like that. And it was a good time. I mean, but it was also a stale time because there was no competition. There wasn't, and I'm sorry, but AEW is nowhere near the competition of WWE. And I'm going to say it. WWE is really no competition for Ring of Honor. Ring of Honor can have that good of matches, if not better than AEW and WWE put together. And people are like, what is he smoking? What is wrong with this man? Is he crazy? No. Look at Jay Lethal. Dude is a phenomenal entertainer. Phenomenal. And if you don't know who Jay Lethal is, for you wrestling fans, Jay Lethal is the one on YouTube that imitates Ric Flair on TNA Impact. So, and he does it awesomely. Just to give you a little, it's entertainment, not acrobatics. This is not the circus. Even though McMahon did get the idea off of Donovan, but we're not going to talk about that right now. We're not going to go into that real detailed about how Vince McMahon, made his world conglomerate wrestling company. But it is entertainment. And if you think good wrestling is constant high points, then you're wrong. You're wrong. You don't even respect the sport. Good wrestling was Bret the Hitman Hart. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko. These are guys that could go in there. Yeah, and I'm going to throw Chris Jericho in there. All right. Those were good wrestlers. Those were good guys that could do entertainment too. Now, Stone Cold Steve Austin, let's talk about that guy. Greatest guy ever. Ever. He's the greatest wrestler of all time. Like, if not the best. Okay? But there's eras. Hogan was the 80s. Stone Cold was the late 90s. John Cena was your 2000s. You know, they always had that one big guy. But they don't have any one big guy right now because nobody can hold on. They put the title on Brock Lesnar because he's big and he's bad and there's nothing else you can do. People say, oh, he ruins the company and all of this. Well, does he? Does he? Who else is going to take it? Who? Daniel Bryan? Like, really? Daniel Bryan, please. Please. These... It's the vanilla midgets, man. It's the vanilla midgets. We have nobody that's big, nobody that can like really actually grapple wrestle, tell a story, and give us a great show anymore. About the only greatest entertainer that I've seen so far is maybe John Moxley, maybe, and AJ Styles. AJ Styles is by far, so far, this generation's, this era's better wrestler. And do they water down different wrestlers? Well, yeah, because not everybody can be at the top. We'll see if you can hold down the fort for a little while. We'll see how it does. You know, and people, it gets worse. The fan base in the wrestling business is so ADHD. All right. And I don't even believe in ADHD, but they are so ADHD. The moment they get into a superstar, they quickly turn on that superstar and say, nope, I don't like you anymore. It's cool to rebel. It's kind of like somebody loving Nickelback and loving to listen to their music and got all their albums. But when somebody comes up and be like, yeah, dude, you know, Nickelback is stupid. Yeah, man, I agree with you, man. Nickelback is stupid. But secretly liking Nickelback. That's what people do. That's what fans do in the wrestling world. And I think it's crap. Bully Ray said it on Busted Open Radio. He said it the best on Twitter. He said, if you're mad because Goldberg won the match, then you just don't get it. It's Mania. It's Mania time. It's coming up in April. Get it? I don't know. But yeah, to the fans, wrestling's done, bro. Quit being mad about it and just enjoy it. If you don't enjoy it, find something else. Like the Celtics. Find them.
That's one thing I can say about like the NFL, the NBA, right? There
Yes.
are no fans that are going to switch over, right? You're either a fan and you like if you're a Colts fan, right? You hate the Patriots. You have those teams that you love and you have those teams that you hate. But once you have that team that you love, you're never going to switch.
Oh, yeah. It doesn't matter. Like, dude, Cub fans, Cubbies, Chicago fans are the most loyal fans ever, and I love it. When I see a Cubs fan, I'm like, dude, mad respect.
Right?
Mad respect. That's a fan.
I got Cubs gear right here in my office.
Oh, you like
the Cubs? I love the Cubs from day one, man. Even when we didn't win, still love the Cubs because they're my team.
See, in the NBA, I've got 3 teams: Celtics, Pacers, Bulls. Always have been, always will be. At one time, I used to like the Houston Rockets because of Hakeem Olajuwon, but you know what? That didn't work out too well. I lost interest in basketball, but Celtics never lost my interest. Pacers never lost my interest. And the Bulls, just because they didn't win, I'll be a Chicago Bulls fan till day I die.
See, we kind of had it where we were at, right? We kind of had that nice little struggle because where we were at, located in our hometown, you're either going to be a Bulls fan because it's close, a Detroit Pistons fan because it's close, or a Pacers fan because you live in Indiana.
Right.
Those are the three teams you can root for. And because those are the three teams that you can actually see on TV.
Yes.
It's hard to be a fan when you can't see them.
Yep.
But that's beyond the thing. You ready to move into some football?
Let's do it.
Let's do it, man. You guys tonight. All right. I'm gonna explain to you what's going on right now. Actually, it started on Sunday. Okay, and it lasts until I believe this Sunday, and that is the NFL Combine. Now, the NFL Combine, for those of you that don't know, is where these players that are coming into this draft this year have been invited to come and participate in a series of different exercises, field workouts, things like that, to show these evaluators, scouts, teams that are looking at possibly drafting them what they have. They're basically going there and they're laying it all out and saying, this is what I got, this is what I can bring to you. Okay? And these evaluators start to throw ratings on these players as they go through. Now, the ratings that I'm going to give you guys tonight, some of them are the evaluations after their because there's stuff that they've done Sunday up until today. Okay, that's like the intelligence tests, and that includes like intelligence testing. It includes like an actual written test. It's a lot of questions, understanding playbooks, understanding schemes. Like they're testing to see your football knowledge. Okay, plus some of these are pre-ranked numbers that are given to them based off of their performances in college. Okay. But so as I go through, I'm going to kind of talk to you. These are some people that me personally, because me getting ready for fantasy football, right? I try to look at some of these young players coming in to be late round draft picks from my team. These are guys I'm looking at that are going to come in and be possible playmakers this year in the league that could be, hey, I get this guy around 14. He's coming in. He's scoring, 3 touchdowns a game. That's a lot of points for me to have. So I'm looking at some of these young guys to be possible rookie players on my fantasy football team. But I'm also looking at, because I'm a Colts fan, I'm trying to look at some of these players that the Colts are looking at, as possible draft picks. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, would the Colts trade up for a quarterback? Are they going to stay down here with a defensive lineman? Are they going to go with an offensive guy if, Anthony Costanzo decides he's going to retire? Okay? So just to go through it, I'm going to go through and explain this numbering system, right? Now, this is the NFL's numbers based off of what they got, okay? And they rank them from 5 to 8. I don't know why I don't do like a 1 through 10 or whatever. I have no clue. They decided to rank them 5 through 8. Okay? If you fall below a 5, guess what? You're not going to make an NFL team, period. It's probably not going to happen. You might as well just find a job, maybe throw fries at McDonald's. I don't know.
No, everybody's got to go to the combine, right?
Huh?
Everybody's got to go. Everybody's got to do this.
No. So there are players that are injured that aren't participating. Tua Tagovailoa, the kid from Alabama, quarterback, he's not participating because he's injured. Joe Burrow, the quarterback for LSU, who's probably going to be going first round, very first pick. These guys are invited, but they don't necessarily have to participate. And you don't have to participate in every event either. There's 7 events, I think, that they offer. Usually only 6 are actually done. There's a 60-yard shuttle that they don't, they have it. They do some drills on it, but they don't actually, count it. All right, I guess maybe I should start with that. Let me go through the drills first. How's that? Does that make more sense?
Yeah, let's go. Yeah. Okay, I'm learning as you're going on.
So
is Brady going to be there?
Huh?
Did Brady have to go to this?
No. This is only for the new draftees.
Okay. Okay. Continue.
Okay, so the very first one that comes up is that everyone looks at is the 40-yard dash, right? How fast can you run 40 yards? I think the fastest pace ever set was 4.22 seconds. This year's 40-yard dash so far, I think the quickest time is 4.28 seconds. Alabama wide receiver Henry Ruggs, who is just lightning on the field, is putting it out there. Now, not everybody has done this yet. So today's schedule was quarterbacks, wide receivers, and tight ends. Tomorrow will be running backs, offensive linemen, and special teams. Saturday will be edge rushers, defensive linemen, linebackers, and then Sunday I think is defensive back and safeties. So the fastest ones that you're going to see are going to be today and tomorrow. Maybe possibly Sunday you might see a couple corners that are pretty quick, defensive backs. The ones that would amaze you though are those defensive linemen and those offensive linemen, how fast they can actually run a 40. I mean, they're big guys, but they can run a 40 pretty quick. I mean they're in the 5-second mark. And you're like,
yeah, and those big guys running at you, imagine if they hit you. You know what I mean?
Right. Like, I mean, not to say anything small, but like Javon Kinlaw, one of the guys that defensive tackle that the Colts is looking at, right? He's 6'5", 324 pounds. That dude is a locomotive coming at you.
And he's running the 40 and what?
Well, we haven't seen yet. He hasn't done it yet.
Okay.
Now, when he does, we'll see what happens.
I guarantee you put a porterhouse steak on the end of that 40, he gonna get it. he gonna
get there quick.
Oh yeah.
So the 40-yard dash is obviously one of the first ones they look at. The next thing they do, especially for a lot of offensive linemen, running backs, and defensive linemen, is the bench press. And when I say they do a bench press, they do 225 pounds, and they do it as many times as they can pump it out. As many reps as they can pump through. And it has to be a full rep. They have a person there counting. It has to come down, has to touch the chest, has to do a full extension. As many reps as they can do. The guy I think is in the lead right now knocked out 44 reps at 225. That's pushing it. That's a lot of weight.
Yeah.
The next one, which is a big one for wide receivers and corners and safeties, is the vertical jump, the vertical leap. It's a big thing for wide receivers because you have to be able to jump up, go up there, and get that ball. And actually, the guy in the lead right now is one of my Michigan dudes, Donovan Peoples-Jones. Is in the lead right now with a 44.5-inch vertical. Dude,
wow.
Almost 3.5 feet up in the air. Maybe a little over 3.5. Yeah, a little over 3.5 feet on a vertical jump.
I don't mean to sidetrack, but what was I'm just going to use Jordan. What was Jordan's vertical in his prime?
Jordan's vertical? Man.
Yeah, in his prime.
Well, let's look it up. Michael Jordan vertical.
It would have been when he was younger.
Michael Jordan's vertical leap was measured at 48 inches.
So this NFL player is 4
inches short of Michael Jordan's vert. Yeah.
Wow. That's incredible.
But Michael Jordan was also, 6'6"?
Mm-hmm.
And Donovan Peoples-Jones is not 6'6". He is, I can tell you here in just a second, 6'2". So 4 inches shorter.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So that's the next one, right? Is the vertical jump, and like I said, it's mainly for your wide receivers, your safeties, your corners, sometimes your running backs, and tight ends, the guys that are going to be catching the ball. It's more important for those guys to have a good vertical. The next one is the broad jump. That's literally standing and you jump out as far as you can. I know that it sounds kind of weird that you would measure that, but it really shows a lot of agility, like the ability to bounce, move around people. You kind of show some of your explosiveness that you have, like especially getting off the line.
Taking them.
Yeah, Donovan Peoples-Jones is also leading that one. 139 inches, which is, man, that's huge. So stand still, swing your arms back, jump out as far as you can. He hit 139 inches.
Wow.
Right? The next one after that is the 3-cone drill, and that's where you go. It's a running one. You go to a cone, go back to a different cone, go back to the cone. So it's just kind of back and forth things. That's more you'll see more tight ends doing that kind of drill. That's getting them used to going to a route, then turning and doing a block, because that's one of the things. And then you'll see the kind of the final one that they do is a 20-yard shuttle. The back touch the ground kind of thing.
Right.
And that's more of an agility thing too. And then they do have a 60-yard shuttle, which I'm not even sure if anybody even competes in the 60-yard shuttle anymore. But they have it out there. I think they just do it as a thing, as a practice. So those are the big ones, right? And obviously the numbers that I have right now that I'm looking at are not complete because a lot of these ones haven't done all of the stuff yet. And I know there's a couple on here that haven't participated at all, but these are just kind of numbers that are given. So let me kind of go through these numbers real quick here. Starting at 5 and working up to a 5.1. So if they could fall anywhere like a 5.02, 5.7, anywhere in there, from a 5 to a 5.1, you have a chance to at least make probably an NFL camp, like a training camp this year. And that gives you the opportunity to be seen by coaches, seen by scouts, possibly make the teams depending on how you are. But they kind of score that as a 5 to a 5.1. From a 5.2 to a 5.4, you're looking at probably going to be a free agent. And what that means is as the teams progress through the season, obviously players get hurt sometimes. That happens. They pull people off of the practice squads and things like that. Well, they have to replace those. They have to fill those. A lot of times they'll hire free agents to come in and do those kinds of that stuff. 5.5 to 5.6, there's a really solid chance of making a roster or at least a practice squad this year. Okay. 5.7 to 5.9, more than likely you're going to be a backup on the team or a special teams player, depending on what your position is.
Right.
6.0 to up to about a 6.1, you are what they would consider to be a developmental prospect. And what that means is, you're probably going to make these teams. That's the kind of player that you're looking at getting in some of the preseason games, trying to develop their game, trying to see what really they can be brought to the team and how best to try to develop you as a player. So those are the ones that kind of fall in that range. Now it's kind of a limited range because I think that you're either going to find them, they're either going to be backups or you're probably going to be in higher than a 6. So the 6.1 to 6.2, they're saying that you're definitely a good backup. If you play well enough, you're probably going to become a starter, right?
Nice.
6.3 to 6.4, more than likely will be a starter. At least was going to be a starter within the next 2 seasons. So the next 2 years, you're probably going to hit that starting rotation and be a solid starter from then on. 6.5 to 6.6 is what they list as a boom or bust player, right? You look at this player, you're going, okay, he's going to be solid. He's probably going to come in. He's going to be a starter. You throw him in the thing. He's either a great player. He's going to be a great starter. or he's going to wind up being one of those guys that's like, okay, he's a bust. He's not gonna be doing what we need to do. We try to give him a shot. So that's 6'5" to 6'6", kind of in that range. 6'7" to 6'8", definite first year starter. They're going to come in. They're going to play right off the bat. Probably be an impact player. Right as soon as they get drafted. 7 to 7'1", Pro Bowl kind of talent. Now, you're not going to see very many. You probably won't see very many above a 6'6". So seeing guys like Joe Burrow, right? The guy I was telling you about, he's the quarterback from LSU. He came in this year. He won the national title. He's gonna go first round pick. He's 6'3", 221 pounds, a hell of a quarterback. He's got a rating right now of 7.07. So if that lets you know how tough this scale is, and he's not participating in the Pro Bowl or participating in the combine, but they already have him listed as a Pro Bowl talent player before he ever even makes the NFL. Now, sometimes that doesn't happen. You know, they had guys like Jamarcus Russell back when he was coming in. You know, before they had the combine and stuff like that. They're like, oh, this guy's going to be a Pro Bowler, and he didn't do anything. So, I mean, to say that all these guys are going to be that way, well, that's kind of hard, you know. 7'2" to 7'5", they're saying that this is going to be an annual, every year, this guy's going to make the Pro Bowl. Like, this guy is a guy that's going to make the Pro Bowl every year. He's that kind of player. And right now, I think the only player that they really have labeled as that kind of number is Chase Young, that defensive lineman from Ohio State. 6'5", 264 pounds. The guy's a beast. He's an animal. And, yeah, I think whatever team he's going to go to, he will probably be a Pro Bowler. There's probably no question there. And if you hit 6'7" to an 8, you are what they consider to be a perfect prospect. Do you know how many of those there are? None.
How many? None.
None. 0. And that's to be expected. I mean, I don't expect... Look, there's a leap, right? There's a change.
Mm-hmm.
You go from high school to playing the college. There's a change. The talent level has amplified. And not by a little bit. I mean, you look at how many players in high school go on to play college. There's not that many. There's even a bigger leap to go from college to the pros. You know, any NCAA, I think they've even said, the NCAA itself, if you take all of the NCAA teams, about 2% of all NCAA athletes go pro. That's how little it is. So you're taking this best receiver, this best cornerback, this best safety, this best defensive lineman from all these different teams across the United States. And now they're fighting for the chance to play in the NFL. Right? There's a huge leap there. A huge leap in talent. You know, you may be the best wide receiver there is in your division, but you're playing for the MAC conference. You know? You don't know what it's like to play against Big Ten teams. You don't like to really play against an SEC team. Teams that may be bigger, faster, and stronger than what you are. So yeah, you may make these other teams look like weaklings. But then when you go to this bigger NFL, you're like, oh God, this is a big change. Like,
oh yeah.
It's like going from boys to men. And just that fast. I mean, it's a huge change. So I don't expect them to ever really rank a guy a 7.6 to an 8. How could you possibly? I mean, that guy would have to be pro ready back when he was in high school, and it's just not possible. It's just not possible. I don't think I've ever seen that. But
I don't think that I've ever seen it either.
But that's beside the point. So some of the guys that I was looking at, right? And I'm looking at it as a Colts perspective.
Right.
You know, there's a lot of turmoil in the Colts right now, talking about what are we going to do at quarterback? Is Jacoby Brissett going to be our guy this year? Are we planning on, playing him out? see what he can do, and then if we don't get anything, try to hit the draft next year. Because there's still going to be some talent coming next year in the draft. But is the talent coming next year in the draft going to be as good as a Joe Burrow or a Tua Tagovailoa or a Justin Herbert or a Jordan Love? Are these guys going to be as good? I don't know. I think they have the possibility to. So there's a couple guys that I was looking at that the Colts may trade up for if they are thinking about going to a quarterback. One of them was Justin Herbert, kid from Oregon. He's got a 6.4 rating right now, so wherever he's going to go, he's probably going to be a starter within the next 2 years. Now, the nice thing would be is he could come into the Colts organization, be a backup to Jacoby Brissett, let Jacoby Brissett play a little bit more, get him used to the game, right? You don't have to put him in right away. You don't have to, give him some time to develop. Give him some time to get used to the playbooks and the stuff that's going on in the NFL. And then, next year start him. Might be a good choice for us. Jordan Love, another kid out of Utah State, ranked at a 6.33. So kind of falls in the same number area right there, right? About the only one that I could see that if they were to go and pick him up now is Tua. Tua is a 6.8. Rank, the kid from Alabama, solid quarterback. I think he's going to be good wherever he goes. The question is, are the Colts going to make the trade up to get somebody like Tua? I don't know if they will.
Why won't they, though?
Well, it's because to trade up in the draft, you're trading something away, right? So,
True.
Like right now, let me just kind of go through this right here quick.
It's almost like a gamble.
It is. It's a gamble. So right now, the Bengals are at number 1 and Redskins are at number 2. Okay? The Bengals, I would say, without a doubt, no question about it, are going to pick Joe Burrow. Right? He is the number 1 quarterback on the list of quarterbacks. He's the number 1 player in the league, and the Bengals seriously need a quarterback. So, to me, that's a no-brainer. There's not even a choice about it. They're going to pick Joe Burrow at number 1. The Redskins, who have a decent defensive end right now, are probably going to pick Chase Young at number 2. But the Redskins are doing something smart. They're bringing in Joe Burrow. They're bringing in Tua. They're bringing in Justin Herbert to do some workouts with them prior to the draft. So they're making it
Dude's
seem...
got 2 first names, man. That's awesome.
Justin Herbert?
Yeah, I'm putting that out there. He's got 2 first names.
but here's the thing, right? So the Redskins, by doing this, right, by bringing these quarterbacks in to do some workouts and stuff before the draft, because you can do that. You can invite all these different players you can invite in to do workouts. Even though, how do I say this? Even though I think there's probably no question that they're going to go with Chase Young at number 2, by doing this, right, the Lions are at 3, Giants are going to go with Daniel Jones at 4. Their quarterback they have right now, so they're probably not going to worry about it. Dolphins may want to make the move to 2, right? But if the Lions are seriously thinking about a quarterback, and now the Redskins are like, well, we're going to bring these quarterbacks in to do some workouts, right? Well, now they're making that pick at number 2 go, the Lions at 3, if they don't pick Chase Young, they may take the quarterback that I want. So do I trade a couple draft picks? Do I trade a couple players? Do I trade some money and to bump up to number 2 to the Redskins position so I can guarantee you that I'm going to get the player that I want? Or
Right.
do I hope that the Redskins go with Chase Young and then I can get my player? And the Redskins are playing smart too, because they're like, well, if we bring these people in, we may get some, we may make it seem like we want a QB, even though I think they're pretty solid with Dwayne Haskins that they picked up last year, right? They
Mm-hmm.
By making the intrigue that, hey, we may take a quarterback, it may make some of these players, these teams down below that are going to be taking quarterbacks, want to trade up so that they can guarantee their spot. And then they're getting draft picks, they're getting players, they're getting stuff basically to take that pick that they weren't going to pick anyways, right? They were going to pick Chase Young anyways, that they could still possibly get him later on. You know, like if the Giants, right now, like I said, Redskins at 2, Lions at 3. If they make that trade because the Lions are afraid they're going to take that pick, not only did they get a couple draft picks out of it, but they're also still going to get the player they want. So this whole that's the thing I love about like the NFL, and baseball's the same way too, right? Is that, you know, there's intrigue to watch this. There's intrigue to like what's going to happen. There's strategic planning that they do inside their war rooms, going, okay, how do I get the best bang for my buck? Do I trade down and hope that I still get the player that I want, or do I trade up to make sure that I get a player that I'm trying to get, or do I just hang tight where I'm at and hope that the player that I want that may be above me, something happens and it winds up falling down through and I can still get him where I want him at the pick that I want to pick at, so I don't lose anything out of it. Like there's some strategic backstabbing going on in this situations. I'm telling you right now, it happens all the time. And we don't know about it because we don't get to see all that transaction. We don't get to see all the talk behind the desks.
Right.
You know? But it makes you go, what's going to
We don't
happen here?
see all the agents going around trying to get their guy to get moved, bumped up.
Right.
You know,
Because see, the thing is, depending on where you're drafted, right, depends on what kind of contract you're looking at for your player.
right.
So a guy that falls down to pick 15 in the first round isn't going to get paid as much as the guy that's picked at number 5. I mean, that's just how it works. So your agent's going around going, hey, man, my player's worth it. You need to get him at pick number 7, right? And so these other teams are jogging and they're like, well, you know what? We'll take him at 6. And then someone's like, well, you know what? We'll go ahead and trade for 6. That way we can get the player we want. And then, you know, there's a whole bunch of stuff that happens behind the scenes that we can't see. And if you get the opportunity, do you like Kevin Costner as an actor?
Do I like the what?
Do you like Kevin Costner as an actor?
No, I don't.
Oh, well, if you did, there's a movie to see called Draft Day, and it's a sports movie, but it's about him. He's the GM for the Cleveland Browns. It kind of goes through this whole rigmarole of kind of stuff that goes on, you know, prior to the draft and what's happening. And it's a pretty good watch. I'll be honest with you. I like
I'll watch
it.
watch I'll watch it. I know it's on Vudu.
And since it's coming up to the end of February, you know, Black History Month, if you haven't
Mm-hmm.
watched 42, the Jackie Robinson story, you should definitely give that a watch too. That's
Nice.
It's a great movie. Great movie to watch.
But the first one was Draft Day.
Draft Day. Yep. Kevin Costner's in it.
I'll check it out.
Surprisingly enough, one of the guys and one of the players that they're talking about drafting, right, is a former running back for the Houston Texans. Arian Foster is a guy that's playing a kid that's supposed to be drafted in the movie because he never got drafted. So he wanted to see what it felt like to be in the draft situation.
Oh wow.
So they cast him in the movie, which was kind of cool. But okay. So there's a couple, like I said, there's a couple players that I've just been kind of looking at. I tell you, one of the ones that I really want the Colts to look at for maybe I don't know if he'll fall to a second round pick. I don't think that he does. Is T. Higgins? He's a wide receiver, 6'4", 216 pounds. He's one of those guys that can go up there and get the ball, which is something the Colts don't really have right now. Man, we don't really have anybody that's a tall receiver. We don't really have anybody that's that I mean, we have a couple tight ends, Jack Doyle, a big tight end that can do that stuff, but he can't nearly go up there. And I think that we need to add another offensive threat on our offensive side of the ball. Marlon Mack, great running back. Naheem Hines, good running back. There's some solid stuff there. T.Y. Hilton, when he's healthy, he's a good wide receiver. We have a couple young guys that are still getting there, Zach Pascal and stuff like that. But if we were to have another guy on the field that's a threat, that's one of those guys that the quarterback can just throw the ball up in the air and say, "Oh, here, go get it," that's going to change things a little bit. And I think it's something the Colts have been kind of missing for a little while that I think would help out.
Yardage.
Right?
Yardage. Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that could still happen. A Notre Dame kid, Chase Claypool, he's 6'4", 230 pounds, wide receiver there. He ran the 40 in a 4.42, did 19 on his bench press, had a vertical of 40.5. He has a score of 6.4. He's one of those guys that's probably going to be he's probably going to be a solid, maybe a first-year starter, definitely a starter by the second year. Maybe back up this year, playing some stuff. But he may be a good kid to go after. Devin Dervay, Texas kid, not as tall, 5'10", has a decent vert though, 35-inch vertical. Ran the 40 in a 4.39, pretty quick. But he's a developmental player though. I mean, he's not one of those guys that can just come in and say, "Oh yeah, this guy's going to be great for our team." He's going to be one of those guys that you have to come in and be like, "Okay, what am I going to have him doing? Am I going to have him run the slot? Am I going to have him be a deep route guy? Am I going to have him?" He's one of those guys you're like, "Okay, what am I going to do with him?" And that's a lot of players. I mean, to be honest with you, coming in the league, you're like, "Okay, what am I going to do with him?" That's the question. Where does he fit into our scheme of play? So, and again, that's one of the reasons why I love the NFL, because there's so much uncertainty as to what can happen, and players that looked great in college may turn out to be not so good in the NFL, and players that were, I'd say, mediocre players in college, not mediocre, but they weren't the standouts. They weren't Heisman Trophy winners. Wound up being one of the greatest players of all time, guys like Tom Brady. Peyton Manning was a good college player, but he wasn't one of the best college players. Hell, Ryan Leaf was the one that was supposed to go number one, and he did, and the Colts wound up picking Peyton Manning. Right? Couldn't have been better. Peyton Manning played for how many years? Ryan Leaf failed after the first year. He's been in jail I don't know how many times. So there's just a lot of stuff that's uncertain, and that's part of the reason, loving the NFL and watching it. And I think having a true appreciation, it's kind of like how you have a true appreciation for WWE. That's the kind of appreciation I have for the NFL. Back to the NBA.
Sometimes.
Ready?
Back to the NBA.
Back to the NBA.
Real quickly, because we got to do.
Pacers up.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
80-75.
Yep.
Pacers up 80-75 into the third. I still got to run promos real quick here.
Yep. You run promos, and then I'll be back with the recaps of games from yesterday, and we'll tell you what's going on right now. Fourth quarter, Kings Thunder 82-83. Thunder beating them.
Nice. We'll be right back after the promos.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? I'm Dino Mack, and you're listening to the Mac Attack Show. You're able to hear this podcast for free because of our sponsors. One of our sponsors is DAP Photography. The photos you want, the memories you won't forget. Also sponsored by Funwear Studios. Find them on Facebook, follow their link, and get yourself a personalized clothing item. You can also get the Mac Attack Show's t-shirts and Dino Sports Bar t-shirts there.
Are you tired of having a get-together and somebody showing up with a boombox? Are you wanting to add an element to your event that will make it epic? Are you tired of paying for overpriced DJs that only deliver music and not a night of memories that will be talked about for years? Then call D Music Company and let us show you how to have a real party. Dances, weddings, reunions, or maybe you're just lonely and want to party by yourself. If there's a crowd, we'll get them to boogie down. So call today to book your next event that you will never forget. 574-952-4169. That's 574-952-4169. Mention the Mac Attack Show and receive $25 off. Don't settle for a champ. Call a master.
Hey, it's that guy Ty from the Mac Attack Show. I don't mean to bug you, but if you live in the Indy area and are having pest issues, call Bugs Be Gone. They can take care of anything from ants and bed bugs to roaches and termites. Give them a call at 317-945-2965. Tell them the Mac Attack Show sent you and get 20% off your services. They have been taking care of Indy customers for over 15 years, trusting them to take care of your pest needs. Again, call Bugs Be Gone at 317-945-2965 and tell them the Mac Attack Show sent you. What's going on, everybody? We're back. We were talking a little bit on the break about some NFL stuff still. And our boy Dino here is a Kansas City fan. You know, Look, the man's taking a break from watching NFL. So you come back, you got to pick a team you like. And, I mean, why not pick a winning team?
Well, it's just one of those things. I mean, I'm still a fan of the Colts, even though that Peyton Manning let me down on that Super Bowl. But yeah, I'm still a Colts fan, and I'll still pay my hard-earned money to go to a Colts football game if I get a chance to. I'm still gonna play. I'm still gonna pay to go see a Pacers game. But definitely the Colts. Definitely a fan of the Colts. And now that I'm back into football and trying to get back into the swing of things, especially with the XFL going on and having a little bit of interest in that sport too, but it's like we was talking, dude. Patrick Mahomes, this kid has got swag dripping all over him. He's got that face, and he's got that mentality and that attitude that a coach looks for. He motivates the team. He's a team player. He's the reason why I watch Kansas City. Now, I don't care if they, like I told you on the break, I don't care if they win another Super Bowl for another 50 years. As long as Patrick Mahomes is playing, I think I'm going to stick with those guys with Kansas City.
Well,
because
he's so fun to watch because he is truly a playmaker. Like,
yes,
I don't even know how, like, he shakes loose sometimes and you see him you think he's going to take off. Then he looks downfield and he throws like a rocket of a pass and you're like, how did he even just do that?
Mm-hmm.
If I was a defensive coordinator playing against him, I would hate to try to run the game films on what to try to do to stop Patrick Mahomes. Like, I would hate to have to be the guy to try to do that.
Just cream him. Just try to blitz. But the
problem is he can run, and then if you don't blitz fast enough, he's got his tight end Travis Kelce there. He can just dump the ball to, and now you're looking 5-10 yard pick up every time he dumps the ball off. So it's like you can't just we'll just blitz the crap out of him because that doesn't work.
Well, how big it's got to be? You know what I mean? How big?
Contain him in the pocket. See if we can hold it. No, that's not going to work because then he'll just run on you. Okay, well, let's just play a prevent defense to try to stop him from throwing downfield as best we can, and then try to. But the problem is we're running a prevent. Now he's throwing to the slot because he's picking off between our safeties. Shit. Okay, well, let's. You know what? Let's just outscore him. That's all we can do. But I think
don't worry. I don't want the Indiana fans to think that I don't like the Colts. I do like the Colts. They're my Cubs. They're my Chicago Cubs. No matter what, I'm still going to support the Colts. I'm still going to be a fan of the Colts. But I just picked up an extra team, and I found another reason to watch football again. So I'll be watching them. And some of these guys that you was telling me that Kansas City is going to be drafting, and you was talking about some of the people that Indianapolis needs to look at, like later tomorrow or something. Send me these names. Send me places that I can Google so I could take a look at these guys' stats and stuff, and just kind of be like, you know what? I think timeout with Ty. I think Ty's right. I think fourth in class is right. I think that this would be a good move.
Well, so like right now, okay, just for instance, the mock drafts. the mock drafts they come out with right now, I've even done one, a preview of a mock draft that I think could happen. And I tried to do something a little different. I tried to throw in a couple trade options, teams that may be trading up to try to get different players. Okay, so I tried to go really in depth with it and try to make a little change. But here's the thing: until until draft day comes, there's so many things that can change. Players can retire, free agency bumping around. Like, nobody knows what's going to happen right now with Tom Brady. My assumption is Tom Brady's going to go back to the Patriots, but he could land anywhere. That changes the entire dynamic. If a team like the Raiders, let's say he lands at the Raiders, right? Well, the Raiders might have been trying to pick up a quarterback in the draft. Why would you pick up a quarterback in the draft if you just signed Tom Brady on your team? So
right.
now you're gonna pick a different player. Well, now that player you pick, that changes someone else's pick down below you. There's so much stuff that's still to happen, but we try to have an idea of what we think. Okay, these are some of the possibilities we think could happen. These are where I think some of the free agents are going to land. This one makes sense. This one kind of makes sense. This one kind of makes sense. The one that kind of makes sense for Kansas City, one of the guys that they're looking at is C.J. Henderson out of Florida. He's a cornerback, right? 6'1", 204 pounds. He's fast. He's got a prospect grade right now, 6.77. So he's a first-year starter coming in. He's a great player. Played really well for the Gators all season long these last 2 years. He's tough. And one of the things that Kansas City was kind of lacking a little bit in this year was their defense, was some really good playmakers in their defense and their secondary, to be specific. So picking up a cornerback that they could come in and plug and chug into their system right now makes great sense. Just makes great sense. So, there are some that I think, yeah, this is probably a solid for him. Unless something were to happen, he gets pulled off the board early. I don't see that being an issue though. Possibly, depending on how it falls, if one of the other corners falls a little lower, Christian Fulton may be a guy that may fall. I don't know how that works out. That's the kid from LSU. I don't think he'll fall, though. I think, if anything, he may go up in the draft a little bit, depending on how his combine looks. Like right now, Joe Burrow's at number 1, Chase Young at number 2, and then we kind of fall into the corner, outside tackle areas. So the one that's kind of intriguing, though, is the one at number 5. That's Tua. The Colts could possibly trade up to get a guy like Tua, because going from 13 to 5 isn't a huge jump. I mean, it is, but it's not huge. It's not like going from 13 to 1, right? You're going to give a lot.
But I mean, what's Indianapolis going to, give him for a contract if they did trade up? I mean, it's going to have to be persuasive enough. Like, definitely.
Well, no. They're going to have to trade and be enough of a persuasion to the Dolphins to want to trade down. So,
okay, I get it.
We're talking the Colts may trade. Obviously, they're going to trade the first-round pick this year, right? Maybe an option for a player and a second-round pick for next year, and possibly a third or a fourth-round pick. You could see, like, for instance, right? Let's say there's a couple teams that have more than one pick in the second round. So the Colts have a couple second-round picks this year. Let's see, 2020 draft picks. So the Colts this year have, obviously all teams have a first-round pick, right?
Mm-hmm.
This year the Colts pick first round, 2 in the second round, 2 in the third round, a fourth round, and a fifth round, and a sixth round. And they got a sixth round from New York. So they have 2 in the sixth. So they got a second round from Washington and a second-round pick this year. So that's why we have two, almost back-to-back. There's a third-round pick, the fourth-round picks. So those were from trades prior to this year, right, that we have. So you look at these two top picks in the second round, I think they're 34th and 36th. So they're pretty high up in the rounds. You could see them possibly trading, obviously, the first-round pick, because we don't need our first-round pick this year if we're trading up to get a first-round pick. It's just swapping. You could see them maybe trade off one of their second rounds and a third rounder this year, or they may trade off a second rounder this year, a second rounder next year, to try to get a pick that's a little bit higher up. That kind of stuff makes sense, you know? You're not necessarily losing any players. You're not losing any cap space. You are going to gain a player that may be a person that's a vital point for your team, especially since, you know, I think there is a lot of question as to whether or not Jacoby Brissett is the starter for them, right? So if you're going to pick somebody, if you're going to trade up to pick a quarterback, you should trade up enough that you can get the quarterback you want. So, I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that's, like I said, there's a lot of stuff still to happen. The combine is still going on. You know, we don't know. Hey, they may trade up to number 6 instead of number 5 and get Justin Herbert. You know, there's teams out there. There's stuff out there that these players want. There's teams out there, like I said, the Redskins. Even though they're planning on going with a defensive end, they're trying out these quarterbacks to say, hey, maybe someone wants to trade up to take my pick.
Yeah. I'm starting to get it. You know what I mean? I'm starting to read what you're saying here and how it works and stuff like that because, yeah, that's pretty cool.
Right?
Are we going back to NBA now?
Say what?
Are we going back to NBA now?
Yep. Pacers are up 94-82.
94-82. Look at that. And they was down.
With, almost 7 to go in the fourth.
Kings Thunder tied. 5 left in the fourth and 95-95. Let's recap from yesterday for some of the fans that don't know what happened. 76ers, Cavaliers. Cavaliers take it with 108. Nets, Wizards.
Crazy. How does a team that's that bad, wind up beating you? And not by a little bit. By 14 points. A team that's 17-41. I mean, I'm pretty sure my daughter could go make a basketball team that plays better than the Cavaliers right now. And yet they still beat you.
Well, besides that, we got the Nets and the Wizards. We got Wizards over the Nets, 110-106. And then we got Knicks, Hornets. And the Hornets take that one. And that's weird because the other day, Pacers beat the Hornets, or the day before. And then Magic's, Hawks. Magic's 130 over 120. They kicked the Hawks' butt there. Timberwolves, Heat, 129-126. Then you got the Grizzlies, Houston Rockets, 140-112. Houston Rockets take that. That's wow. That's some big game points right there. Mavericks, Spurs. The Mavericks are going to take this 109-103. Clippers, Suns yesterday. Clippers comes out with the win at 102-92. Celtics and the Jazz, that's right, 114-103. Celtics take that win. Just today, the Knicks and 76ers. 76ers beat the Knicks 115-106. Then, of course, right now, fourth quarter, 4 minutes, 48 seconds, 97-98. Thunder still up here, and Pacers still 96-82. And then later tonight, Lakers, Warriors, and you can see that on TNT. So just giving you guys tomorrow, we got the Timberwolves, Magics, Nets, and the Hawks, Hornets, Raptors, Kings, Grizzlies, Thunder, Bucks, Mavericks, Heat. Whoa. Yeah. Okay. Cavaliers and the Pelicans tomorrow at 8 p.m. Pistons and the Suns tomorrow at 9 p.m. Wizards and Jazz, Nuggets and Clippers tomorrow, 10:30 p.m.
So, Warriors and Lakers, right? Warriors,
Uh-huh.
you brought that up. Warriors, Lakers. I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm going to go lay it all out there. The reasons why I don't like LeBron James. Okay?
I want to hear it. I want to hear it.
I'm not necessarily calling him out. I'm kind of calling him out a little bit, right? First off, all these people that
James.
think that LeBron James is better than Michael Jordan, you've lost your minds. I've already proven this to you when we did our first GOAT series, okay?
Yep.
It's done. You can quit now. Michael Jordan wins. LeBron, I don't think he's as good a player as Michael is. When it came down to it, if you needed Michael Jordan to just take the ball and say, you know what, I'm gonna put everything on my back. I'm gonna carry this team. Michael Jordan could do it. I don't think LeBron James can. I don't think he can. 3, he cries and whines so much. I see these little flops and these little. I'm like, dude, you're a big guy. You know, I couldn't imagine what it would be like if he played back in the 70s, 80s, and 90s. The way those guys played back then. You know, you tried to drive in on somebody like Charles Barkley or Patrick Ewing. The way you drive in now, they would absolutely slaughter you.
Yep.
You want to talk about whining? That's when you can whine, right? He seems like a crybaby.
Dennis Rodman. Try to take it to Dennis Rodman.
Dennis Rodman will literally, he'll just straight shove you out of bounds. He don't even care. He won't even think twice about it.
Foul. Screw foul. He had attitude.
Right?
Get me started on the mailman, Carl Malone. Okay?
Number 4. The fact that, so he's been traded to the Lakers now, right? This whole tragedy and everything that happened with Kobe and his daughter and all these people on this thing, right? They had a celebration of life this week, and he wouldn't even verify to the news that he was there because a lot of people were like, where's LeBron James? Where's LeBron James? He never said that he was there. Never would even confirm or deny that he was there, which tells me he probably wasn't there. Like, dude, you're talking about a guy that was a hero for a lot of people, right? He was a role model for a lot of players because of his attitude, about how his work ethic is, his abilities. Like, Kobe was probably one of the greatest players there ever was. I mean, he played as well, if not better than Michael Jordan in some cases. Not all the time, but in some cases, right? And you don't even have the courtesy to be at a celebration of life. You should go just because of the principle of it, because he was that kind of a player. You should show your respect. But the fact that you play for the Lakers now, the team that he played for his entire career, the fact that Kobe had more years of his life that he played in the NBA than years of his life that he didn't. I mean, he got drafted by the Lakers at 17 years old. He played in the NBA longer than he didn't play in the NBA. The fact that you played for the Lakers, though, you should have the respect not only because he was a good player, so you should have shown up because of the respect just as him as a player, but 2, just to show your allegiance to your team, who is mourning the fact that they've lost Kobe. You should show up, and if you don't show up, you should at least have a damn good excuse as to why you didn't.
Well, what if King James had like a family issue?
If he had a family issue, then that's a damn good reason why he didn't.
Right.
I'm not saying you have to get into, but just say, hey, listen, I had a family issue that came up. I wasn't able to make it. You don't have to go into detail. Just say, hey, look, I had a family issue that came up. I wasn't able to make it. But don't do this little, I'm not going to confirm or deny that I was there. Nobody wants to hear that shit. Nobody cares enough about you to say, oh, you know, if you had something going on, then just tell the media because obviously the media noticed that you weren't there. Otherwise, they wouldn't be asking this question, right? But if it comes up, just say, hey, listen, I had a family issue that came up. I wasn't able to make it. Or you can even, lie about it. Be like, listen, I was so broke up about it. I didn't feel like I could emotionally handle what was going to happen. You know, lie your face off. I mean, you do it every time you get fouled. What's the big difference? You know?
Yeah. Yeah, I just another thing that I don't like about King James here, or whatever you want to call him, whatever his new name is today. The Celtics beat the Lakers in January. I mean, and it was like a 20, I think it was a 20-point deficit or something like that. And then, of course, this past Sunday, the Lakers beat the Celtics by 2 points. And then some kind of outrageous foul that was down at the bottom. It was the guy act like he was going to get an Oscar. He barely got hit, and it was an offensive foul. So they reset the clock. Lakers got the ball. They put 0.8 seconds on the clock. After they won the game, he was standing in the middle of the court with his hands out like, "What's up? What's up?" Because Lakers Celtics big rivalry.
Right.
Always have been.
It's been a rivalry since Larry Bird and Magic Johnson played against each other. I mean,
right.
It's been a rivalry since probably even before that.
And how is Magic Johnson still alive? Like, what's going on with that?
Money. Money pays for cures. I'm just saying. Oh, well, you know what, dude? We are obviously well past our hour.
Yeah.
I apologize. I got a little too into it tonight, but stay tuned. Like I said, I'm still trying to get a couple names on here that may be a little bit bigger. I'm still working on getting a Major League Baseball player on here, which would be fantastic because pitchers and catchers are down at spring training right now. Spring training ball starts up, I believe, yesterday or today, I think, was when the first big spring training game started. Getting ready for, March regular season stuff to start. So, trying to get somebody in here to kind of go through the life of what it's like to be in the Major League Baseball. And some others, if I can. Like I said, I'm trying. You wouldn't believe how hard it is to get a hold of stuff once somebody makes it big. It's a little bit harder to get a hold of them. But,
they're busy.
Hey, I get it. We're just a little bitty podcast trying to make our names. But don't forget to check out Guy Talk tomorrow night. I think we're doing it tomorrow night, right?
Yes, we're going to do it tomorrow night, whether if I got to do it or not.
Okay. Sex Talk Sunday.
Mm-hmm. If ladies don't show, we're still going to have a show.
There you go. So don't forget to check those two out. Any big stuff coming up with the Mac Attack show stuff?
Not at this point in time. Still working on that. It's hard to find people that want to be on a radio. You know what I mean? It's hard, getting people on a talk show, really hard to do sometimes because, a little shy. They don't know what to say. It's kind of like when you're taking somebody's picture and they don't know what to do with their hands. So
what do I do with my hands? What do I do with them? All right. Well, here's the thing. Everybody have a great night. Have a great weekend. Don't forget to check out our other shows. We'll be back here next week. Definitely going to try to talk some Major League Baseball. Still going to continue on. And starting to talk about the NCAA tournaments coming up for both the men's and the women. March Madness is going to be in full swing here before we know it. So start talking some March Madness. And, everybody have a great weekend. And thanks for tuning in.
Yep. Thanks, guys. Pacers 103 over the Blazers 96. Pacers going to win this.
We get this audio fixed here. Okay, I got it. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Sorry about the technical difficulties in the beginning. Ironing that out. I'm using a different microphone tonight on my headset. Getting used to it again. Be sure to like, subscribe, ring the bell, click all to get notified when I do this live stream. I do other videos, tech tips on my channel, stuff like that. It's pretty much random stuff, but mainly tech tips and this live streaming, simulcasting stuff. But yeah, thanks for tuning in. I'm gonna see if I can get this bumper music going again to play out the show. Till next time, peace. Sorry about that, I'm having technical difficulties again. Hopefully by next time I go live I'll get it all ironed out. But thanks for tuning in. Bye.